All right. Here we are, back again, another week. I'm Agent Ultra, and here I am to do some programming with you. I program in a language called Haskell, for the most part, on this stream, but occasionally we do other things, like C or whatever. It's recreational programming, right? And for the past little while, I've been trying to figure out how to build a MUD server in Haskell. What's a MUD server, you ask? It is a multi-user dungeon, that's what it stands for, and it is a real-time, multiplayer, text-based online game. Right? So several people play at the same time, and it's kind of like it was the precursor to modern-day, massively multiplayer online games. So we're trying to figure out how to build one, kind of a medium-sized project, and just to learn stuff, you know, learning how to embed Lua into Haskell applications, learning more about it, more deeply how to build applications with Haskell's excellent software transactional memory and networking support, and just, you know, having fun, learning new stuff. So last week we were getting into more of the Haskell Lua interop. I want to get to the point where we can have the story kind of come together for the game developer who's going to be writing the game code in Lua to be able to send output back to the connected client when they get a command. So we want to be able to get a command that isn't like a proper server command, forward it to the Lua side so that the game code can handle it, and have an API for the game code to call into the server to like do various things. And one of those things I want to start with is just send an output back to the user. Right? Pretty straightforward stuff. We got very, very close to it last week, and I did manage to knock it out and get it to work. So we have that basic bit working at the moment. So I'll show you what that looks like at the moment. I'll just fire up my client here. And we'll fire up the server. Bakamud. Make sure I got chat up. What's up, Twitch TD? How's it going? Welcome back to the stream. So you can connect. Let's kill the client there. The logs, so don't worry about that. Receive the connection, and then yeah, we can go pew 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 pew. We can go where, whatever. All right. This debug print statement's coming from Lua. Yeah, we got it. And now we've got hello, say Baz. Right, and now it prints it back out to the user. Right, all from the Lua code. So I'll show you what that looks like. Let's go our Lua file. So what I figured out is that in order to access an individual function and call that function like Lua function from the Haskell side, all we can do is load this entire module as if it was a function, or like a function, like a void function that doesn't, well, still returns something, but like takes no arguments, right? And so what it's going to return is a table. And so we use that table, and it returns it onto the Lua stack. We use that table to access the functions inside of it. So this function here, m.handle command, is in the table m, this function handle command. Right? Now, we can print whatever using the Lua libraries. Yeah, that was the trick we couldn't figure out a couple streams ago. So I got that going last stream, and then we got to the point where we were trying to call, figure out how to call Haskell functions from Lua that needed some extra context. So in order to call this put connection stuff, right, it takes a connection ID argument, which we get here. So this Haskell's passing this connection ID in. right, from the server. And if you want to talk to that connection, you call the put connection function, and you give it a connection ID. Now the thing is, when we go to call that function, right, back on the Haskell land, we need access to like the connection map again and things like that, right? But the code for this, at least when we left it, as we left it last week, didn't have the reader monad that had the environment in it with all those connections and stuff. So I was like, how do? What's the best way? So I was kind of surprised by this, but I'm going to show you here how we got it to work. Right. So what we had last week, I'll just ignore this for a second, is just Haskell function E, right? Put connection. So we can get the arguments off of it, the raw connection ID, the byte string, right? Which is right over here. Connection ID and a byte string. Right, we got to parse those, but we needed to get the connections. And so I was like, oh no, what is a Haskell function E? It runs inside the Lua E monad. That's also a reader T. And then like to get access to our Bakamud server, like we have in load main here, that's also a reader T. But I've got two reader T's, both alike, but at war with each other. And so I was like, oh, well, what do I do? Well, it turns out, and this, I thought of this on the stream, but I was like, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, was, well, Haskell functions are curried by default. Right? So applying this put connection function to a single argument returns a new function, the Haskell function E. I wasn't sure if that would serialize, but I don't know why I didn't think it couldn't, or it might not. But it does just fine. So we could pass the server state in here, right, and sort of enclose over it as a curried function. And that allows, that's all we need really, because that holds all of the tvars and stuff, to all the connections and whatnot. So that allows us to put things on the output queue for that connection and then write it back out to the client, which is great. I'm a little bit wary of it though, because like we got to be a little bit careful writing these functions. The tvars will hopefully protect us somewhat, but race conditions can still be a thing. And some of them do lock and wait on locks, so there could also be deadlocking. And so with user code, calling into the context this way and like telling the server, hey, put this on the output queue for this thing, like yeah, we just have to be mindful of that. I don't know if we'll be able to program defensively against bad programs, but we could be defensive as much as we can. Yes, let's see how far we can get. Right, so put connection now is great. So we can right, handle commands. We could potentially parse them, right, and put back to the client. So what do we need to do next? Well, we gotta handle errors. Like a lot of this stuff, I've just implemented the happy path. Right, we look up the connection. It might not be there in the map, so we gotta handle that area, and I gotta figure out how to handle passing errors back to Lua functions, I guess. Yeah, let's figure that out. HS Lua core. Cool. You can do closures with C too. Nice. Won't be a problem for us, but yeah. At least hopefully it won't be. You never know. Yeah, load and run Lua code. We got that. Posting Haskell functions. Yeah. Okay, we can push errors back. Returning the result of error. I guess from Lua? Okay, let's try that. I don't know how the heck we would test that, but you know what I'm saying? Okay. And just error. Let's get GHCID building. Okay. We did not qualify it, so that's probably going to error ambiguously. We'll just qualify that now. Yeah, I'll import the types. That. And here. Here. Okay, we're in the middle of an STM transaction. So we can't write to Lua E there. So we should return the result then from the transaction. return a Boolean. Why not? I don't know. And then this one. Okay, let's just do an if here. Okay, there we go. An error path with that one. Modify Bakamud server mud code. Output connection. Key, that's good. And then I added this little thing here, export functions. So all the functions we want to export to the Lua API have to have the same signature here. They will all have a name and then yeah, a server state to Haxel function. That just kind of like allows me to just pop a bunch more of these in here as we need, and all the code will just pick that up and push them onto the Haskell stack for us. Cool. So that's that part. The other part I need to work on is error code, error handling wise. I think is probably where we load the Lua module and look for the function and such. Don't think we have error handling on that very much. Let's see, let's just double check that. All right, so we gotta load the code. We get a load code result. Running with the interpreter lock. We traverse those exported functions that I just mentioned. Push them onto the stack. We then load the string of the main module. We p-call it. So we're not checking the result here. And we're not checking the result of the p-call. Oh no, we are checking the result of the p-call because we return it here. And we just IO error out. Don't load Lua code. That's not too, I mean, it's not great. We probably could do better there, but that's probably good enough for now. Oop, what did I do here? Okay. And login, dispatch command. Da, da, da. Okay, cool. So what do we need to do now? I think we need to expand out more of the game program, the API exposed to the game developer, and start going from there. Oh, I know. One thing I did want to do was revisit the authorization handling for input commands. So we kind of just, at the moment, this code just blanket trusts and hands off the code to the Lua code, the input to the Lua code. If it's not a server command, it doesn't recognize. It tokenizes the string and just dispatches that. But I wanted to make sure that before we allow users to start calling those game functions and start interacting with the game, that they are authenticated and authorized. Or authenticated. The authorization, well, I might leave that up to the game developer to implement, maybe, or give it an API for them to work with, to use. I'm not sure how we'll do that part, but, or if we even need to. But I did want to use that. We have this connection state on the connections. So all we need to do there is we can check that in handle token list before we call the code. And we should probably also handle the error cases here, actually. We want to be like super nice about it. Although maybe that's actually just fine too. Yeah. This isn't great because this will kill the thread though. And just because this command failed for whatever reason doesn't mean we should like kill the whole server. So that should be fixed. Okay. So let's do the authorization check first. We have just the connection ID, so we have to look up that connection object with the connection ID and check it first. So speech connections. And then we have to look up in that map. So we'll probably get a maybe connection. I'm going to have to lift IO atomically the transaction. So we just take a transaction out on the connection map. Just like we do here. That's good. We actually need the connection ID. So I'll just rig it out right there. Not integer. So we unwrap the connection. What to do with the nothing case. And then we have the connection. Just pop that all over there. That. It's probably like log or something like that. So maybe that's something I should work on, is like our central kind of logging facility, so we could do that. That would be great. Okay, so we get the connection, and now we can look up its authorization state. Where did I put auth state? Bakamud.auth. Makes sense. Okay, so we have either authenticated or anonymous. Authenticated is allowed. So we handle it. Anonymous is not. So we have to do something here. I think we can put a message to the client to let them know that they have to authenticate first. That would be in client, I believe. Yes. We put the CID. And please authenticate first. Okay. So let's run that. If we try to hello Baz now, we should get please authenticate first. Okay, cool. So registered. Interesting. Let's play. Echoing that twice. I wonder if that's going to keep happening. Okay. That might be a bug. So we should be logged in now. Now we should be able to say hello, Baz. Get something back. But an error happened, probably. Looks like, maybe. Okay, why did that happen? I should log and continue as well. You have an undefined there. It should all be the same as before. Okay, let's just do a little debug tracing here. It might be something with our output processor. Notice it was printing twice. Maybe that thread is getting killed because it's erroring out. Let's register foobar again. Success. Okay, that's better. Okay, that's fine. Oh no. Yeah, we're authenticated now, so that should work. Yes. Yeah, so we should be able to, like, hello, foobar. Okay, for some reason that didn't work. Oh, we're dead again. What is happening here? Up to date, latest build. Use authenticate first, that's what we want. Registration succeeded, okay, that's good. Success, logged in. Okay. And received. Good, good. And then we die. Would we be getting here? That would be weird, but maybe. Dead in the water again. Okay, not anonymous, not handling command. Do it again. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, look at this. We're getting buildup of our output. But we'll get even more if we try again. Okay. So that's one thing. That's a clue. And then if I do register foobar, my login is foobar. My authentication state should be authenticated. And then I can handle one command, but apparently not. So there's something going on here. Okay, so the part that looks out for the output to send to clients. Here. The output function. We fork 3 threads when we start the server up. The simulation outbox, and the command dispatcher. And then we run our main thread. Which handles our connections and initializes them and sets everything up. Command queue. That's command dispatch. Simulation state outbox. Okay, so and then talk is how we put a message on the messages on the connections right queue. Okay, so one thing I'm noticing with this code here, we've got one transaction here, got one transaction here, and then lift IO, and that. Try to get the broadcast message, if there is one, and then we loop. So this just checks if it's empty. If it's not, we read TBQ. We just read might not. Is it not consuming the input or the consuming element? Read the next value. It's a bounded version of TQ. The queue's maximum capacity. All that stuff. Yes. And the maximum number of elements. Blocks in the queue. Yeah. Okay, so read, I assume, gets, like, pops it off. Like removing the element from the queue. I guess the reason why this code checks for this is so that we don't block. Although there's a non-blocking one. Okay, I think what we could do is just rewrite this code a little bit, clean it up. I think what we should do is have the queue result, message result, from the transaction. We should probably use try read TBQ. And we should probably also do that for broadcast messages as well. And we get that in one transaction. just call it broadcast message, I guess, since that's what the code uses. And we could do a similar pattern here. I don't like this pattern. P encode UTF-8 message. Well, GHCID, there we go. Okay, and then this is what the nothing case we don't want to do anything. That's the thing. Wait, what data maybe? Am I forgetting? No. I could traverse over it, I guess, with a single value. Just for the effect, that might be cleaner. Maybe message. And here. And we should really get rid of this. Put this back the way it was. And that should be all good. Okay, there we go. Here. Okay, so let's run this again, and see if I still get the same bug. Have we fixed it? No, we died. What is happening? Okay, I think I really do have to work on handling thread exceptions better and catching them. Because this is annoying. I want to know who's dying where. That's... At least the code's a little cleaner there. Doesn't seem to have changed a whole lot. Although, we weren't getting multiple... messages. Please authenticate first. So let's just clean up some of this. Yeah, we'll create a little commit. Get rid of the debug. We'll go to there. Yeah, I'll take those out for now. Yeah, I'll take those out. Because then I want to go see if I can do the exception handling for the thread forking. Okay, so then we handle token list. Modify Bakamud. Server? Yeah. Doesn't rate it. Okay, so what do we need to do now? Let's see if we can catch those errors when if any thread dies. Let's log the exception, the IO exception. Okay, so fork Bakamud. What's this doing? This is an indirection because we're using silly reader T stuff, and I had to write this god-awful code. We use fork finally. Whatever we call that. Which takes callback with some exception handler here. we just pass through. And we just basically do nothing with it. So, we could log something here. Should be either some exception to IO unit. Go. Just something dumb. Okay, let's run the server. Reconnect. Authenticate first, sure. Aha. Okay, we're getting to an undefined. That's what it is. 38. Interesting. It's hitting this undefined. Yeah. I think I know what's happening there. I go, wait. You're gone. Okay. I think that would be nice if it, like, if any of the threads crash, we should probably do something smarter. Okay. That's fine. Ish. Now we're hitting that again. Now we die. Okay, so we had that Mochi cake. Ooh. Twitch TD. That's all good. I have enough cake. It was my birthday yesterday, and my family made me a nice, wonderful chocolate cake with a nice, fluffy peanut butter chocolate frosting. It's awesome. Mochi sounds awesome, though. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, when one thread dies, it just borks, right? Haskell just kills it off. It doesn't return. The main thread is still running. It's not great. It'd be nice if, like, we could just, like, maybe, like, kick the thread back up again or something like that, but depends what it is, right? But I'm hitting this undefined, I think, because it's on the empty input. think if a client, like I'm typing real fast here, I'm probably sending /r/n, and that's it, probably. And so it's not parsing to anything. And hitting here. So let's handle this case. Could only be that one. I can just print it to standard out for now until I get that logging thing I've been talking about going. Text probably has qualified. Oh. Put stir. Yeah, put stir. Oh, it's data to text IO. Eh. Yep. Parser issue. So as soon as we take away that undefined, everything's back. Okay, foobar. Let's register. Log in. And then can we, hello, foobar? Yeah, okay, now everything's... Okay, so that's been the bug. Great, which I've known for a while is there. It's we're handling it a little sloppily, a little quick there, so... Okay, so if we get a parse error here... yeah, let's look at our parser again. It's been a while since we looked at the parser. Alright, so we try a bunch of parsers until we get to unprocessed command. Alright, so let's look at unprocessed command. So we take printable characters, only printable characters. Which means this parser could fail if we get just CRLF Or like spaces. No, spaces should be fine. I'll just press that a bunch of times, yeah. But if I just press enter and nothing, yeah, it's just the CRLF is sending the new line. So that one is not printable, which will fail the command, the parser. I don't know that that's necessarily an exceptional situation. Necessarily. I mean, we could log it, or we could just return pure unit just to make the problem go away for now. And log it later. We feel like it's necessary. What's up, Chexor? It's going down. Cool, and then we can hello ASD. And we get hello ASD back. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, solving my own self-inflicted problems. Programming. That's how you do it. Yeah, you're gonna move your self-hosted apps onto NixOS, eh? Man, I don't know if I could do that. That's brave. NixOS is a self-inflicted problem. I don't know, I had to use Nix for a bunch of years. Mercury uses Nix, and I use Nix on some of my side projects, but I'm trying to like it. I really am. But it's hard. It's not because Nix the store or anything like that. Like, there's parts of the Nix umbrella of things that are great. I find I hate the language the most. Yeah, it's pretty deep, but it is probably very, very nice to have like a repeatable setup for your server instances, right? Yeah. I self-host all my stuff, but I don't do it with Nix. I do it with Ansible, which is not super great either, but it's fine. Cool. Well, let me know how the migration goes, you know? Keep us informed. That's something I do need to do, TwitchDD. I need to set up my own code forge. I've been meaning to get off GitHub for over a year. And I've been dragging my butt on that. Right now I've been working on trying to get... Yeah, it's not super great either. It's good enough. But the thing is, like, I understand it's not a programming language. It's YAML, which has its own issues. But there are issues I'm comfortable with and I can understand. Whereas like when I'm not good enough at the Nix language yet to understand what the heck I'm doing very well. And so when it throws an error, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, Rayo and Caddy, yeah. And I'll probably have to like invest in getting some kind of anti-bot system in front of it as well. Like Anubis or something like that. because they scrape like nobody's business these days. Guile is something that I've been also suggested to look at as like an alternative to Nix that maybe would be cool. Guix. Let's take a poke. Right, also like a similar idea. Package manager, deterministic, reproducible builds, blah, blah, blah. Cool. And I'm assuming it's probably Guile scheme. As the configuration language. I think the main thing I'm on the fence about is really like, should you use a programming language for configuration? Yeah, one language for everything, just like Nix, right? Are they different things? You got a point check, sir. Like, I know what you're putting down there. I'm picking it up. But I think the main difference for me is that a programming language isn't Turing complete. I can't write stuff in it, like programs in it and stuff. Yeah, you might be able to, and I think Gabby once suggested to me that maybe somebody did this with Doll or something like that, which might be pretty useful. Oh, derivations. It's got this terminology. All right. I kind of know what that is, but not 100% sure I know what that is. But I've heard that word so many times. Manifests, derivations. Let's take a look. Okay. Well, that's a heck of a signature. Let's look at some code. Okay, here we go. Use modules. Makes sense. The bash script my score. So there's some let bindings. So he's just defined some variables. Defining one called builder. Yep. Yep. And then we have derivation store foo. Bash. I guess this is a quote. Execute some code there. Inputs. Env vars. Get a derivation back. I could maybe get used. I could probably try this out. I could probably figure this out. Like I did some Lisp. I know some Lisp. It doesn't look like somebody barfed into a JSON file, which is nice. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, they might have like the same ideas or similar ideas, maybe even similar semantics underneath the hood, but the syntax for some reason in Nix just bothers the crap out of me. I can't tell the difference between like a function or just like a normal like definition of like just some data. It's hard to parse. Yeah, I don't understand either. Somebody thought it was a great idea, and that's what they got, so that's what happened. Okay, I'll commit this. not super awesome, but good enough. A little bit better. Something about laziness. Maybe. Is Nick's lazy evaluated? Nick's language? Yeah, lazily evaluated. Okay, there you go. At least that's what the AI says. Yep, there it goes. And the official documentation says it too. Could have just used Haskell. I don't know. But yeah, like what even is this? I don't know. I don't know. One of these days. I've made several attempts, let's say. I haven't gotten like super deep into it, but I've made several attempts to get better at Mix. It's just hard when you're like not having a good time. Yeah. Yeah, if I'm gonna go self-host CodeForge, definitely gotta put something in front of it, because like even my blog like gets scraped a fair amount by the AI bots. And from some people I follow in the Fediverse on Mastodon who are self-hosting their own CodeForges, they're getting hammered. Okay, so this is just like a little fixie commit. The main thing here is to add to log just to print out exceptions. Not super great, but it's something. Exception logging. Exception non-logging. There we go. Okay, so now we have the ability for the game developer to write their module in Lua and send some output back to the user. They can parse the input. They can send some output back to the user. Let's pretend, let's put on our game developer hat and write some Lua code here and see where we bump into things we're missing, and we'll go implement those missing things. So I want to implement a simple look command. Right, and the look command should get the room description, right, from the database, from the server, and then I want to send that to the user for them to see. All right. So then I need to get the room somehow. How do I want to do this? What do we have in scope here? How are we handling state on the server via Lua? So that's what we're going to be building out a little bit here. we're going to provide like an API to Lua, like basically a bunch of Haskell functions so we can push onto the stack, right? For the game developer to use. Now, for the simulation, we're using a entity component system. We're going to be building an entity component system. So that's going to handle things like mobs and any kind of passive system that the user wants to add to their rooms. Like maybe they want to add weather effects or whatever, and they should be able to program all of this stuff themselves without Haskell. Right now we have implemented rooms, just basic rooms. And like the very, very beginnings of an entity component system. And so we'll have to provide an API for the game developer to like manipulate that entity component system. So like creating new entities, you know, changing the systems that are available on them, looking things up in the database, so rooms, mobs, items, whatever, and being able to like move the player around to different rooms based on their commands, to handle those interactions. And so we'll see how much we need by building this out and trying to implement our game here. And then as we encounter things we need to interact with the server, or we can provide those functions. Does that make sense, Twitch? I was rambling a little bit there. Yeah, like the majority of the server state's going to be kind of opaque to the Lua code, but you'll interact with it through functions, through the API. All right, so we need to get the current room that the connected player's character is in. Although we don't even have that yet, so maybe we should do something about that first, actually, before we try to implement the look command. Yeah. We have maps. And we needed to attach the user to a particular place in the map, or the user's avatar to a particular place in the map. Which I wanted to be able to handle actually when the user logs in. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we can't do a whole lot here until we can do that. So basically, probably, because connection ID is the only thing in scope, we'll have to like interact with the user's avatar through that connection ID for handling commands. But let me see if we can implement like an onLogin or on authentication handler. onLogin? onLogin. Logins are what I call the server command, so. And this might be where we could set the user's avatar up. Or if we wanted to do any kind of like handling of their like connection state. Or I mean, that's not a bad idea. Sorry, I'm just bouncing around here now because like I'm in discovery, kind of like searching mode, design mode here. We could just implement a custom command for looking up your, because you can imagine, like, if I'm building a server, right, as a game designer, and like I want you to be able to have multiple characters on my server. So you'll need to be able to look up the characters you've created, right, and then like have a command for playing as that character or connecting to that character or connecting to that avatar. So that character, that avatar concept, I think is going to be something kind of important to the game server that we might need to track. And then the list of them, like the store of them, like I just said, like we want to be able to look up them. So let's say if tokens1 is equal to list. All right, then we want to be able to look up something from the state. We want the database, basically. Characters, right? I wonder if we're called the characters or avatars. We'll call it list avatars. And it'll be through connection ID, I guess. I guess connection ID is going to be kind of like our little token for talking about the connected client connection. Yeah. We could do some formatting here. We're probably going to have like a bunch of like helpful formatting. I want to be able to add like templating and stuff, but for now, let's just put connection, some things out there. Like Lua probably has good templating stuff, so maybe it's not necessary that we provide it, but I don't know. Stringify that, whatever that is, whatever that ends up being. Something like that. Right, so I as user type in list, and then I get back a list of the avatars that I have on this server. Simple enough. You know, we could also do this in the onLogin. That might be a good place to do it as well. Maybe I do want to do that. Yeah. This feels nicer. So I can write put connection ID. Welcome back. That and yeah, no, that's fine. And then just list the characters here. Like put a little tab there. How are they going to know what to pick? They're going to need to pick like a number with a command or something like that. So we'll probably need to do, I pairs. Yeah. So that I can do tab, I can do B, call, and then I can do I and avatar there. Okay. Alright, so then we could down here go if tokens 1 equals what should the command be, like play choose then and should be tokens 2 and then if n, we should be able to do another thing here, but I'm just gonna put connection that you picked it. That'll be a string, so. Just because I don't want to implement too much API at once. So we got to implement list avatars in order to make this code work, and login. What connection we have? We're running a little low on time, so we'll see how far we get. Let's comment out that for now and just get the onLogin stuff working. So I'll just make avatars a fake list of foo, bar, and baz. Hopefully that's not the worst. Not Lua code. That's not the right Lua code. List numbers literal. I was right. It's like the I was right. It's the squirrely brackets. What's in? Oh, I did in. Yeah, I thought I did 4 of. Was it not? But to pull around it, maybe. There we go. Yep. It'd be nice to display the Lua errors, parse errors, maybe. If we just try a command, we should get please authenticate first. Cool, so we don't actually have a database at the moment, but we will soon, I'm sure. But let's register, let's log in, and right, and then we should be able to choose. We picked one, great, cool. Okay. All right, we're gonna want to be able to like for the game programmer to implement this choose thing properly. We want to be able to handle this. Yeah, they're going to want to be able to know some things first, like what am I thinking of? I'm thinking that when I entered that choose command, no, that's fine, okay. No, I was thinking like maybe they want to be able to access some prior state, some prior variable or something. But no, this is implemented just fine. This works just fine. Okay, so we want to implement onLogin, so let's see if we can get that going. Okay, so that's going to be in handle login. Right, where if it works, all right, we update the connection map, update the success, and then we should call that Lua function with the connection ID. Okie dokie. Okay, dokie. So just like in handle token list, I'm going to grab the interpreter lock and push some arguments and check the results. Except we want onLogin. We push the connection ID. We don't need to push anything else. So the number of arguments is 1, and we're good. That's outside the atomic block with that. Okay, let's see if this just works. First, let me get some things in scope that we need. Okay, because connection ID here. It's the actual connection ID. So we can get connection ID. Let's just pop those down there. Fix that. Good, bueno. Okay, reconnect. Register foo bar. log in as foobar. Invalid login this time. What did I do? I messed up the return result, did I? Oh, I just mistyped something. Register bar. There we go. Okay, cool. There's our output from our Lua code, our onLogin stuff. Awesome. Worked. First try. Just gotta remember to put new lines in. Wonderful. Look at that. Cool. Let's go back. Yeah. Okay, the only thing I think we should take out now is that put line, actually. And that's it. I think that's great. Let's run, let's reconnect, right? We register, foobar, registered, let's log in as foobar. After some other verification's done. Okay, cool. We got our list of characters. Let's choose login as 1. We picked 1. Cool. And like maybe there, once that's all, like we have the rest of the API done, we can, that sort of thing. So that's great. Then we need to actually like handle the database stuff. So I think maybe next week we'll start implementing some of that, and maybe like start persisting the accounts and things like that. So we're getting there. Server's starting to come along. We're getting through things. We've got the Lua API going, so now it's getting easier to extend and build off on it. And yeah, it's just the sky's the limit from here. Definitely got to add a cheat code system, some Easter eggs, all those sorts of things. So we're going to modify. Bakamud server. Add onLogin Lua call to handle login. Boom. Cool. So that's what I got for tonight. If all the code that you've seen here is up on GitHub for now, as we discussed. I'm Agent Ultra there as well. And this is Bakamud. So I'll paste the link in chat for you. For your edification, fun, curiosity, or what have you. That's the project. You can follow me on Mastodon. I am on the types.pl server at Agent Ultra. and you can follow me there. Of course, you can also go to my website, agentultra.com. It's got all of my links to everything, including my YouTube channel where I back up the VODs for this stream. And I usually do these streams on Tuesday evenings at 10 after 8 in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. Thanks, Twitch DD, for coming along, and Chexor, and anybody else who's been lurking and watching and following. So if you follow me here on Twitch, then you get notification, and you have your notifications set up. You'll get notified when I go online. Or similarly, if you like, subscribe, and do all that stuff on YouTube, you'll get notified when I post a new stream there. And that could be good because sometimes I do stream randomly throughout the week, but my regular one's on Tuesday evenings. So if you just want to write that down and come back next week, that'd be great. And we'll see you then. What else? Link above my head, declarative.tv. Great little website. There are lots of other folks, maybe not tons, but lots, a handful of people who are doing programming in like declarative style programming languages, things like Elixir and Erlang, as well as Haskell. And there's also a link to a Discord server on that website, which has a channel for this stream. So there you go. Check that out as well. And thanks for watching. So may all your monads be free. Your types always check. And we'll see you hopefully again next week. Take care out there. Happy hacking.